Call this meeting of the Alva Tourism and Convention Development Committee to order. And first thing is discussion and action on the minutes of the August 21st, 2019 meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Do a motion to approve?
Second.
Terry? Aye. Juanita? Aye. Charles?
Aye.
Connor? Norman?
Aye. Second item is discussion and action on the September financial report. Jody?
Okay, starting off, we have $679,449.49, $1,000 to the Alva Chamber of Commerce Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center, $26,300 to the Big Cruise and Car Show, $3,900 to the Alva's Crazy Cool Boulevard Cruise, $2,910 to the 2019 Tourism Marketing, $3,970 to the Alva High School Center Baseball Tournament, $20,000 to the Alva Rotary Club 4th of July Spectacular, $4,000 to the 15th Annual Alva Fire Department Mudsinger Shootout, $6,000 to the Nesatana Golf Tournament, $5,000 $250 to Lights Over Alva, $2,550 for the Ride for Hatfield Park, $5,200 for the Wayfinding Signage Program and Public Art Program, $500 for Future, $2,500 for Sandy, which leaves us with $594,969.49. And the ones that are bolded are the ones that have been signed by Norval, but just haven't gone out yet. He's going to sign the $1,000 one tonight for the Alva Chamber of Commerce, Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center.
You hope.
I hope.
Okay. Anybody have questions on the financial statement?
No. I move that we accept the August 2019 financial statement.
Second. Connor?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Juanita?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Norman?
Aye. All right. Next is discussion action on the Alva Chamber of Commerce Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center Secretary not to exceed $6,000. Alex.
Good evening. Again, we are asking for the $6,000 to maintain the level of service at the Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center. If you guys can believe it, it's been almost 10 years we've been in that Oklahoma Boulevard location. What a great decision those people made years ago. On average, 5 to 9 visitors that stop by the Visitor Center daily, 15 to 30 calls a day. It's pretty crazy. And up to 50 calls during event weeks, such as the Big Cruise and Car Show. Continuous traffic, like we've said, we commented in the commentary on the application. We've had visitors from states this year such as Tennessee, of course, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and Florida. And we're always excited when we get the international visitors. This year we've had visitors from Norway and Australia. Jody has commented we definitely or often get out-of-town visitors on Mondays. So Monday is our big day for out-of-town guests. We're still trying to track down the dirt bike tour. If anybody has a contact with that off-road dirt bike tour, we know they're coming through here and we'd certainly like to make contact with them because we know that we are a stop on their tour. So putting that out there. Not only are we a tourism center, but we also give relocation information, event information with the car show in town. Lots of people in and out looking for information. It's also a meeting location for community groups and a place to find other information about our community. So again, asking for $6,000 to continue those efforts.
I move that we approve the $6,000 for the Chamber of Commerce Tourism Center Secretary.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles, Terry,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
and Norval.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Alex. And I think you're up for discussion and action on the Red Carpet Country 2020 Visitors Guide.
Yes, each year we come to you for advertising funding for the Red Carpet Country Guide, which you guys have in front of you. It is our regional tourism publication that covers the 16 counties in Red Carpet Country. You'll see our ad in that book, but I will tell you something different. I am coming to you this year with a half-page request rather than a full page. Because I am going to come to you in my next request regarding another publication that I feel we should be advertising in. So this year we are asking for $1,400 for a half-page ad in this publication rather than the full page. Distribution in Oklahoma, southern Kansas, the Texas Panhandle, and of course in visitor centers within this region, or chambers, I should say. We're probably the only visitor center other than Diamond, and maybe Woodward.
Do you know if they have this like all on a website as well, or?
They have a very active website and Facebook presence. In the last 2 years, they've very much stepped up their I should say, marketing of their publication and of our region.
Are these available in the, like on I-35, those kind of visitor centers?
Yes.
They are.
Yes. All the countries are represented in those tourism centers.
Seen them in some hotel room.
Yes.
I would be approved. Any questions? I think that's
Motion to approve.
good.
Second.
We have a second.
Connor,
Aye.
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles, Terry,
Aye.
Norval.
Aye. Next is discussion action on the Oklahoma State Parks and Outdoor Guide, not to exceed $1,350.
So I come to you with a new request. This ad is for $1,350. The publication that we're looking at is the one that Norval has in his hand, the Oklahoma State Park and Outdoor Guide. Jody and I have met for the last 2 years with the regional representative with the Oklahoma Department of Tourism, looking at some new opportunities for us to advertise and to try to get some new fresh material in the visitor center that we can give out, stuff in packets, take to meetings that we present. Just really keep things fresh in the visitor center. And this publication has really, it goes out our door very quickly. We use it quite a bit, especially because it does focus on the state parks. And we feel this is a place that Alva needs to have an ad and to be marketing our community. So we're requesting tonight a $1,350 ad within the publication.
Where would the ad be placed? I'm just kind of glancing through here.
Well,
I don't
it would
really
not be
see
the
any.
inside cover, the back cover, because those are very high-end,
Right.
high. We do not know at this point. We have reached out to them to let them know we would like to be in this guide. Of course, after talking to you, we will finalize that, but go ahead, Jody.
I thought it is broke up by categories.
Is it broken up by?
I see that.
It does,
It may be
it
broken
does
up
have
by.
it in the front, the Salt Plains area.
I
Yeah.
see the map
And
kind of
so I
highlighted
was
red.
kind of wondering if,
And it may be by countries.
What landmarks have you talked about, or have you guys discussed what would be put in the
Well,
guide?
our focus, because this is the outdoor guide for the state parks, we would definitely focus on the state parks in our area.
Okay.
Hopefully plug in some other items depending on the size of our ad. But definitely need to be promoting our state parks in our region and for them to shop here, stay here, eat here. And then venture out to those parks and come back here in the evening.
state park deal was kind of the basis
Yeah,
for
as some of you guys may know, this week in Winoka is the big UTV event. This would have been something if we had known ahead of time and thought or known about for last year. If we had been in it, it would have been a good place to be for that event.
So is this for a quarter-page ad or a full-page ad?
The 1350 was for the, I believe it was a half-page ad.
We have it on the,
Is it on the financials? I don't have the financial sheet in front of me, sorry.
it's the,
Never seen that.
I was thinking it
Yeah.
was.
I think it's the half-page ad, I apologize.
I thought, I think it's the full.
I'm gonna wait through that request for $1,350. State parks.
A second.
So a motion and a second.
Okay, hold, 1 second.
Jody's gonna pull that up.
Yeah,
I thought I had it in this folder. Is it
it's half
Half.
horizontal.
half horizontal? Thank you.
Okay. So I got Charles and Juanita. So, Connor?
Aye.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And Norval.
Aye.
Thank you. One last thing, I did print out for you guys the new data from the State Department of Tourism. It's the impacts as of 2017 on the tourism industry. So if you guys would like to see where your tourism dollars go as far as the economic impact on the state, that information is there. It says 8.9 billion in direct visitor travel is spending, and that's at a record high. So as I get this information, I'll pass that on to you guys.
We appreciate it very much. That's interesting reading.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is discussion and action on the 2019 NWOSU Ranger Rodeo, not to exceed $15,000. Stockton.
Hello, I'm Stockton Graves, of course, and I'm representing Northwest Oklahoma State and the rodeo team. We are asking for $15,000, approximately about 20%, to pay for our stock contractors at the upcoming NWOSU rodeo. Rodeo this year falls back over Halloween, October 31st to November 2nd. The number of contestants we foresee this year would be anywhere from 600 to 700 contestants, roughly still about 2,000 to 2,500 people showing up besides on top of that to this town. So basically, last year I think I have the exact number of contestants was 707. So we went to the first rodeo last weekend at Colby, 653 contestants, and then our rodeos, being the fourth rodeo, actually has more than that because everybody transfers, everybody's eligible at our rodeo. Because in the first semester, the penalty to set out from transfers and stuff is 3 rodeos. So at our rodeo, everybody's eligible. So we really expect to have around 700 to over 700 contestants because it is centrally located and all the schools are fairly close to come. The amount requested, like I said, is $15,000. If you look on the deal there, you can kind of see that the stock contractor last year went up. It's always right around 15,000. Last year, number of contestants went up by probably 100 or so. I mean, just kind of crazy how it's going up. It's a good thing. But we we feel like we can still make everything work with the 15,000. So, any questions?
I see it's a three-day event.
Yep, starts Thursday, yep, 31st of November 2nd.
That will stay overnight.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that, we expect all the hotels to be full, everybody to use the gas stations and food and everything like that. Where I didn't pencil in, I always get the question every year, is the clown. I called Rumford way earlier this year, and he said he wouldn't be able to do it, so I didn't pencil him in this year. So I thought we made that up on the stock contractor side, so we'd be able to make everything work.
So is the secretary multiple people or one person?
Well, we have one secretary, okay? And she figures the payout and takes the entries and stuff like that, but then it's up to the school to actually take entries, take the money, and then pay everybody back out. But the secretary does the figuring and gives it to basically, which would be the people who work for us at the school there, and then they pay everybody out. But yeah, she secretaries every rodeo in this region, which is 10 rodeos, and she's done it for longer than I've been around, so, yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the 2019 NWOSU Ranger Rodeo for $15,000.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Terry? Charles? Connor?
Aye.
Juanita?
Aye.
Norfolk?
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your hard work.
All right. Next is discussion action on the first annual Alva Fall 4D, not to exceed $2,705.
Hi guys. I am Megan Caldwell and I will answer your questions as best I can. My partner and my barrel racing expert is homesick today. So it wasn't a good day for her, but I can answer some of your questions, I hope. So we're going to have a barrel race event in the Alva Dome, that's what the kids call it, out here at the fairgrounds. So 2 weekends before the Northwestern Rodeo. And so the draw for that and the benefit for that for the girls and the hope of getting them in here is to let some of these girls who aren't able to run on this little arena have some free runs on it. And so we hope to bring in kids from the other colleges, our local, it's going to be an open, so that means that adults can enter, kids can enter, anyone can, but we hope to draw from the colleges around, and we're going to send out the flyers to those rodeo team coaches as well to try to get those kids in here 2 weeks before as well. So that Friday night, October the 18th, is when we're going to have it. We want to start at 4 o'clock with exhibitions, and so that's going to let them buy in to have extra runs previous, so we're not going to time those. Those aren't going to pay out anything at all. It'll just be if you want to take a run in the arena, you pay to take a run. 1 run's $5, 3 runs for 15 or 12, however we're doing that. And then we're going to have a youth division, so our young kids from around here or moms that are coming in to run can bring their children. The youth division will have the opportunity to buy into the open. So if you know you've got a fast horse or one that's going to compete in one of the division payouts, you can pay the extra and be in the open division as well as a youth member. And then our open will start at 8 and it'll run until they can enter until the last horses run. So it could go pretty late. Sometimes they do. But in a good, well-organized barrel race, they can run 40 to 50 horses an hour. So we hope with our 50 approximation and what they bring into Cherokee every time they have one of these, that we can do the open part in an hour and a half easy, 2 hours.
You've got laborers down there for $1,000, others, when they give us that kind of information, they break it down.
Yeah.
Who's this going to pay?
So we're going to have, in the application part of it, I tried to kind of say out what it was gonna do. So Sarah and I are gonna be volunteers, my husband's gonna come and volunteer and run the tractor to do the drags and stuff. And so the people we'll be paying will be our bookkeeper, production assistant, which she is from Cherokee, Casey Mead, and she manages those barrel races over there for the Alfalfa County ones that they have. So she's gonna come over and do that for us to make sure that this first one goes without any problems. We need some people to be the barrel guys, the people that take the barrels out and set them up, because every 5 runs they have to drag the arena again. So that gets to be pretty time consuming if you don't have good people that know what they're doing and where to place those barrels. And then we'll have 2 gate people and an announcer. And so that's where our estimation of about $1,000 would come in, because we're gonna try to pay about $10 an hour for those helpers.
So, if we were to give you the 2705, then, and you add that to your donation, hopeful donation.
No idea.
You're gonna have some money left. Tell us about the plans for that money.
Well, we hope that that is the case. So, as far as donations are concerned, we've asked that those donations come in plenty of time to order prizes. And so if that happens, we probably won't take all of the tourism funding. But we have the hopes of ordering better prizes. And so if we can do that, if we feel like this year it was no big deal to get the $2,000 goal in donations, then next year we want to go up to doing belt buckles, and we'd like to do that this year, but now we're on such a short time crunch that I don't know if we can get them in. So we're going to do feed buckets and halters and things like that we can have embroidered with the name, and that it's the first annual Alva 40. So we want to have a bigger and better event every year. Any excess money that we raised, we've discussed either making a donation to Northwestern's rodeo team, we don't know how to do that exactly, or to the college athletics department, however they take those, but whatever excess.
So you're not looking at making it an annual thing?
We do want to make it an annual thing, but we don't have a treasurer, we don't have an account set up, we don't have an LLC, so I don't want to have any money left at the end of it. I want those to go out in prizes, go back into the fairgrounds possibly, whatever those funds are, because I think that it's going to be a small enough and an easily executed event every year to where the expense isn't going to increase greatly, and we can get a good idea this year from the first year knowing what it's going to cost us moving forward.
When did you begin advertising, and what platforms did you
Well,
use?
we've just started, so we're going to use social media, and like I said, we're going to send out hand invites to those rodeo team coaches for the surrounding colleges. We plan to put it in the newsgram, and then we're sending out flyers to the businesses to have hung up in our area. And we'll frequent Cherokee. We'll do Cherokee Freedom, some of those that they've got a lot of the people that enter those opens. Like I said, Casey's been an invaluable asset in this because they bring 50 plus horses to everyone that they have over there. So she's going to be able to help us target those people and make sure they all know about it.
I'd like to see you set up the whole account deal and get rolling on having where you got money and can rock,
Sure.
you have some background, you
Yeah.
got some backup money and things like that.
So would I. I
It's
just
hard-
don't
It's hard
want
to
that.
run an event from scratch every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good place to start.
No.
The fairground won't, I just had a thought, on new events, if we leaned on fairgrounds, they would, the first time, like a new thing like this, that you wouldn't have to pay for the use of it.
Well, I didn't ask for that this time. It's going to take considerable work by Brock to get it ready for us because they've got to deep till the arena ahead of time. I think our event's actually going to help it be ready for Northwestern's rodeo time because it does take such work to get that ready, and it usually takes them a week of work. And so maybe having this 2 weeks prior is actually going to help that and the ground be worked the way we want it. But he's got to do quite a bit of work on to get it ready. There is an event, another event just like this happening in Hayesville on Saturday, And so that's our hope, and the reason we put it on Friday night is that we'll have contestants stay over here Friday on their way up to Hayesville. And so that's why we tried to line that up. We called around, we found out where there were others happening, so that we wouldn't compete with one, and so that we could maybe be a go-between on their way up there.
So does anybody can enter the event, type of deal? It has nothing to do with college rodeo necessarily or
this-
anything?
And it doesn't count towards anything, it's not a part of any of their sanctions or their groups, so it doesn't count towards any winnings or any of that yet. Possibility that someday it could be put in those where winnings get to count and add up for those professionals and semi-professional young
So
ladies.
you have it this year, what's your plans for next year? I would assume that you'd start promoting it way before.
Yes, sure, sure. This year was a very last minute thought. And so Sarah, who is sick, she just came off of Northwestern's rodeo team. She graduated last year. And that was part of her concern of coming into this arena. And I know that a lot of you have attended rodeos and you know what it's like, but we have a really, really small, compact arena currently, and it's going to be bigger. Oh, there she is. This is Sarah. So they're talking about next year's event and promotion and all that, and so I was just explaining that we started at very last minute because the arena is really compact. And
Yeah. So the other schools around, and I can show you different flyers, the other schools that we rodeo with, Fort Scott, Garden City, Weatherford, some of those, they all do barrel races like a couple weeks before their rodeo. Kind of gives, and especially I think it gives our athletes, because they don't really get to get in there like 2 weeks before. It's hard because they're preparing it for it and things, and that will bring kids out here. They come out here, they may go ahead and decide, hey, I like this hotel, I'll stay here for the rodeo. Decide, actually Alva has several things to offer, we didn't know that. And then the day after this, there's a barrel race in Hayesville, Kansas, which is an hour from here. So girls might stay the night here with a friend or do stuff like that. When they do that, they're going to get gas, they're going to eat different things. So
another draw to our event that we want to do, and this is purely Sarah's idea because she knows this and I don't, is that our payouts are going to be really good for this barrel race.
make it worth coming to or driving out for.
Typically, something like this is going to pay out 80% of the entries, the total entries, so we're going to pay out 90% and get 500 added. So each D is going to pay out 4 places, and that's a split of 90% of those entry fees. So they're going to pay their entry fee, we're going to give all of it back except for 10%, and we're going to add 500. And so that's...
Because when I'm going somewhere to a barrel race anywhere, my first thought is, will this pay more than just my entry fee to go? Because, and especially college girls, which this will draw more college girls than anybody else. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of your older generation is going to want to run in the Alva Dome. It's just how it is. But that's their first thing. Is it going to pay for me to even go here? And 90% payout, like, it's unheard of. It just doesn't happen very often, and 500 added will make it even better for these girls. And then they'll have more money to spend when they come to the rodeo.
And the opportunity for the prizes, and so what we've requested in the money for the prizes and what we plan to do with the chamber bucks if we get the donations that we've done, we want to help. We're going to do a drawing, it's called...
Do like a lucky draw, and so every 4 or 5 drags, depending on how many people we get, draw 4 chamber bucks, and then they have $50 to fill up with diesel when they leave town, and that's $50 they're going to have to spend in town, and they're going to get a drink, and they're going to get food and things like that when they leave, so.
We want to bring it back. We want it to grow every year, and we want it to grow into the arena, and we want it to become a bigger deal.
Yeah, and if when the other arena is built, this can be probably so much bigger because you will draw more than just college girls to it.
So does the D stand for draggers?
No, it stands for divisions. So you have 1D, 2, and I do 4D because when you put a 5D in there, you really thin out your payout. So say a 16.00 wins it. Well then, first in your 2D will be a 16.5. First in your 3D, 17.0, and then 17.5. So it kind of breaks up the pay. So everybody kind of has a chance at winning a little bit. But I like it in a 4D, and then 90% payout. That will pay out really, really nicely for these girls. And most college girls don't run in the 5D anyways.
So that means it pays out 4 places.
It's going to pay 4 places in each D. So they'll be a 1D, and those are your fastest horses. So if the fastest
Four
run on
horses.
Alva's arena is 16 seconds, then the second D group is gonna start at 16.5. And the closest to 16.5 is your first place in 2D, and so on. So you go to 16.5, 17, 17.5. And
If
so
they run faster than 16.5.
then they're still in the 1D. So it's
So,
just a
yeah,
half
it's-
second
so
split.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's where barrel racing kind of gets confusing because we don't when you do something like this and you're asking 60 people to come in, or there's no way you can just pay out the top 6 places. Nobody's going to show up to that except for maybe your elites, and even then it would be hard with just 500 added to something like that. So this kind of and that gives more of an incentive for your youth to carry over, for them to stay longer, for them to eat at a concession stand, for them to stay here and eat dinner. Some of your older generation that just wants to come out and support Alva, they're going to come. They may not be 1D runners, but they have a chance at some money or a prize. And I think the chamber bucks would be awesome because somebody's like, hey, by the way, if you go, you might not have a good day, but you still have a chance at filling your tank up when you leave. And so that's
And we're gonna put the
really good
information
incentive.
about where they can go, where they can be spent at, and how to do it in each of those envelopes when we give that out. So it'll be, make sure you get fuel, go and get a snack on your way out of town, show them how to do it, and welcome them back for next year's.
And that's not something I've seen done anywhere else either. So
Have you contacted the other schools, the other rodeo teams?
I have not
Let them know.
personally contacted the coaches, but I've contacted a lot of the girls that rodeo at different schools. As soon as this is official, this flyer, I will put it on our Northwestern Snapchat. Us girls have a little group chat or whatever. I'll post it on Facebook. It will not take long for that to grow like wildfire because I don't even college rodeo anymore, and I already know the college rodeo barrel races that are before the rodeos this year. So
I would just echo what Norval said about getting accounts set up and getting things set up so that this, you get busy next year and
yeah.
that you're like, we don't have it set up, so we don't technically have to do it,
Right.
So,
Or you want to advertise in some way or buy something for it
3 months before.
3 months before,
Right.
6 months before or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah, it was definitely last minute, but I
I'm
would
just saying, whatever money you have left over, we urge
Yeah.
you to use that for next year.
Yeah,
That's a great
and
idea.
yes.
Rather than donating it.
Okay.
We like to see it grow.
Yes.
We can do that.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
All right, if there's no more questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the amount $2,705 for the annual Alva Fall 4D.
A motion to approve. A second?
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Norval.
Aye. Thank you, ladies. Have fun.
Good presentation.
All right, next is action and discussion on a two-person committee to review tourism funding criteria. Charles, so you can speak to that, or?
I think just for guidelines and the review of the policy, so everybody's on the same page. That last event we had, that was a little bit fiery.
Mm-hmm.
I did take a chance to look at the bylaws or the rules and regulations of the tourism committee. I read every page.
I did too.
Okay. And
The part that has to do with committees is
Right.
very small and vague. It's all about
it's one
getting
page.
the money, yes.
Yeah, it's just actually, you can see from across the room, and we're talking about
That's
6.
all that has to do with the committee, is that part there. The rest of
So-
all that document is about collecting taxes.
I think that it would be important for us to get together, or some people to get together and see what other tax tourism committees are doing. Maybe look at their bylaws, their rules and regulations, what it is they're trying to seek in order to raise more money or bring more tourism to Alva. But I think we need to really kind of have more than this. I was really shocked to see 6 bullets, where I think if we reach out, or someone can talk to some others and see what innovative things they have going on, we could maybe build a few things in, so we're all on the same page.
And Charles will kind of remember this, when it started, because that was all there was, we kind of did things on the fly, and I've asked Jody to go back and see if we can locate the old minutes for the first number of years, because we had to put a lot of things in the minutes about, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna try to do it this way and stuff, because there was very little guideline in that ordinance, so, yeah.
I would almost say that, I would be in favor of the format changing altogether. I don't know that, I think this is the best setup in terms of people coming and presenting. You know, a lot of times I think we read through this information and then listen to what they have and the back and forth. I don't know if that's a lot of times productive. If we could maybe look at budgeting this committee, setting a budget each year. You know, we're gonna accept or fund 4th of July. We're gonna fund the car show, you know, things like that. So that would just be something that I would put out there to maybe even take a bigger step back and look at the format of it. And, you know, if somebody, you know, whatever they have, they present that to us like they do, and we take a look at it. If they wanted to give us more information in our book, we take a look at it from there, and if we have any more questions, then we can bring them in. Sometimes I think this back and forth isn't necessarily productive, and a lot of times people don't come in because it's intimidating altogether. So that would be all I would have to add. Just a thought.
Kind of doing the budget, but we have the budget.
We do. I mean,
What's that? Yeah, we do have a budget, but it's a very big number, because if you bump up against it, then you can't fund something, so we actually budget more than we're going to spend always.
I'd even had thoughts on, you know, looking at, just like this event, they're gonna put somebody in the hotel. I mean, because once a arena comes in and you're looking at possibly 20 to 30 events, weekend events per year, and they're coming at you for, you know, then we gotta look at, you know, in my opinion, look at something, what's really putting people in the hotels, because that's,
I agree.
That'll be our second.
As a hotel.
oil.
Yeah, and that's why she's on the, yeah.
And I think because I think some people think, well, it's tourism tax, and they come in here and they think it's like a slush fund for the community, and it's
Right.
not. It needs
That's
to be
right.
something that brings people to town. And maybe it doesn't bring them to town the first time, I mean, it brings them to town maybe the first time, they don't spend the night, but just like with the kid that,
Full battle.
yes, you know, we can change it from a 1-day to a 2-day event, you know, because that's what we requested, and, you know, because we said this is, you know, what we expect, and so I think, you know, to get things, and to get a lot of new, different things going on in the community, I think we need to hear everything that is that type of deal. But if it's not a, something that's gonna put the people in the hotel rooms and somebody stands up there and talks for an hour or 30 minutes, you know, you already know, well, I know whether I'm gonna approve it or not, because it has nothing to do with tourism. So I think that the guidelines do need to be, you know, when they apply, they need to know what the guidelines are, so they don't, you know, put hours of work into their budget and then come sit there and talk to us, and then we just say, nope, sorry. So, which we don't very often, but, so, anyway, that's my.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna have a lot more events to look at.
We'll have a new dynamic.
And we're gonna have a new dynamic, and we are gonna have to be more diligent at it, but we also have to be flexible enough to do things like the first annual 4D, because that's how
Right,
they have to start.
exactly, they have to
Events
start
have to
somewhere.
start somewhere.
Exactly.
They gotta start from scratch and go from there.
And if they're putting more people in the hotel rooms, there'll be more tourism tax to
Yeah.
dole them back out. So, that's what it's about. Get them in and keep
And I think that's when budgeting will really enter into it, whenever we're looking at that many events, plus the car show, plus the rodeo, plus, you know, all these other things that are multi-day events, you know, not just one-day events. You know. That's kind of the way I see it. You know. So like I say, I hope this arena will be our little oil boom, if you will, you know, as far as the hotels are concerned. And the other things that it may attract. You know.
Any thoughts on other tourism committees or other places that we could check in with, see what they have as far as maybe some of their ideas or if they...
Well, Blackwell has one, I know, and
I
of
think
course
Weatherford
Woodward
does.
and Weatherford, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how we got the hotel
Right.
started at first, was talking to someone that was aware of it because she owns a hotel in Medicine Lodge. And she said it was the best thing that had ever happened to them, was to have this tourism tax, you know. And here she is the owner. We had more resistance here when we first started it, but nevertheless, talking to someone else to get, like you say, ideas. How they've worked to improve their responsibility.
Back to your, and just my thought on your deal about people coming to the thing. And you're right, it is a very intimidating thing to get up in front of people and do it. But I've also thought from the other side that if you can't get up in front of this group and ask for money, how are you going to go around town and ask for money and do all the other things you need to do also? I mean,
I think there's value in it, for sure.
what's that?
There's value in it.
There is value in it. I mean, it is, there is value in explaining what you're going to do, and this group can see when somebody is completely disorganized about what they're getting ready to do. And if you can't come do this, you're going to have a hard time doing an event,
Right.
because you're going to hear a lot of no's. So, so that's my thought on that. I mean, I know that it does keep some people away, but I'm thinking, my thought has always been if they can't do it, it's a bad thing.
Well, all of our presentations today were very good.
Mhm.
Impressed with all the enthusiasm and preparedness and the whole thing.
Okay, so, it says appoint a two-person committee to review tourism funding. I suppose that becomes me to appoint that committee. You've already been doing some work on it. Do you want to be on that committee? I mean, do you just yes or no?
Sure. Yes.
Yes, because you have some ideas? I will appoint you two guys, or you lady, to be on that committee and bring us back a report. Let's set the November meeting maybe to hear your ideas, or if you're not ready, I mean, it's not good. I'm not sure we will have an October meeting because there's fall break in there, and usually, one, people are not wanting to come request during fall break, and two, sometimes we have trouble getting a quorum during the fall break. So there's a good chance that there may not be an October meeting. Okay, we have that. Remarks and inquiries by Tourism Tax Committee. Charles, do you want to tell us anything about the arena?
We saw it in the papers, what Sonny Williams said, you know, I would just say, do it tonight, you know, it's kind of where we're at, you know. Still sifting a little bit on what we can afford and what we can't afford.
Well, enthusiasm is growing throughout the community, I can tell you that.
It's interesting to see how many people are looking at it.
Yes,
And,
planning for it.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Car show.
Jody said, did it grow? I said, well, we have to order more porta potties for next year, so I guess it grew. Guess that's one way to tell, when that has to go up. You have to expand that. Yeah, I
Like
looked
a
at
big crowd. Really
yeah, the crowds were exceptional.
We just had a patient today comment on how great the car show was, from Kyle, he's Kyle, that he's been here.
Yeah, seriously was a guy brought his motorcycle from Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, people came from Texas and Colorado and, yeah, all over.
Wow.
Okay,
Good
well,
stuff.
if nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Juanita,
I
Charles,
Aye.
Joel,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Connor.